The Notting Hill Carnival has long been described as one of Europe's biggest street festivals. It's billed as a celebration of culture, music, and heritage. But the reality on the ground this year has once again exposed the event for what it truly is: a cesspit of crime, violence, and chaos, with ordinary Londoners and even the police bearing the brunt of it. On just the first day of Carnival this year, the Metropolitan Police confirmed that more than 100 people were arrested, 140 in total. That is a sharp rise compared with the last year, where the same day saw 100 arrests. It's a staggering figure, and it speaks volumes about what this event has turned into. Among the arrests, 15 were for assaults on police officers. Think about that. Officers tasked with protecting the public, ending their shift bruised, blooded, and in one case hospitalized after suffering a hand injury. That's not an accident, that's an attack on law and order itself. There were 21 arrests for possession of offensive weapons, people carrying knives and other weapons onto crowded streets filled with families, children, and partygoers. Police also seized 11 firearms and more than 40 knives in the run-up to Carnival, as part of intelligence-led operations. Let's be clear, if those interventions hadn't happened, those weapons would almost certainly have ended up in use on the streets. Then there's the drugs. Police made 25 arrests for cannabis possession, 6 for possession of Class A drugs, and 19 for possession with intent to supply. Carnival isn't just a party. It's a marketplace for drug dealers, operating in broad daylight under the thumping bass of sound systems. Add to that sexual offences, robberies, public order violations, and dozens of other incidents, and you begin to see the scale of the mess. This isn't a cultural celebration, it's a magnet for criminality. The Met had 7,000 officers on duty this weekend just to keep things under control. 7,000. That is the kind of manpower you'd expect during a major security crisis, not for what's supposed to be a family-friendly community festival. The policing operation even deployed live facial recognition technology to identify and apprehend offenders. It's a controversial tool. Critics, including the Equality and Human Rights Commission, warned that it's unlawful and incompatible with human rights laws, but the Met pushed ahead, saying it was both lawful and proportionate and crucial to public safety. In fact, 13 of the arrests on Sunday were directly the result of live facial recognition matches. That means without this technology, some dangerous individuals would have been free to roam the crowds. Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley was clear. The force would use the technology without bias and in a targeted way. And frankly, with the scale of crime on display at Carnival, it's hard to argue with the need for every tool available. Police weren't just reacting, they were proactive. Ahead of the weekend, they arrested 100 people they identified as posing a serious risk to safety. 21 were recalled to prison. This was a calculated attempt to take known criminals off the streets before Carnival even began. The fact that such drastic measures are necessary should tell us everything about the threat profile of this event. Commander Sean Mambrenia, who fronted the Met's policing plan, admitted that serious violence was the top priority. That in itself is damning. A so-called cultural festival, drawing around 1 million people to West London, has to be policed like a riot just to stop blood being spilled. Defenders of Carnival will insist that it's about community, about joy, about diversity. But what joy is there in 140 arrests in one day? What kind of community celebration leaves dozens of officers injured and weapons littered across the streets? And what kind of example does this set for the children and young people attending, who see drug use, violence, and criminality normalized in front of their eyes? Notting Hill Carnival has become an annual stain on London's reputation. It drains police resources, endangers lives, and emboldens criminals. Far from being a celebration, it is proof of the failure to maintain law and order in the capital. This year's Carnival was described by many as one of the most dangerous yet. And with the figures in black and white, it's hard to disagree. When you need 7,000 officers, live facial recognition cameras, preemptive arrests, and still end up with hundreds locked up, dozens of assaults, and weapons seized. It's not a festival anymore, it's a cesspit. The hard truth is this: until the authorities are willing to confront the reality of Notting Hill Carnival, rather than the glossy PR version, London will continue to host an event that is as much about crime and danger as it is about culture and music. And for the millions who live in and around West London, that is not a price worth paying. In other news, Kemi Badenoch has branded Robert Jenrick's supporters sore losers after backing him to replace her as Conservative leader. She suggested that some of her critics believe she only got the role because of positive discrimination, saying they can't cope with the fact that I won this. Mrs. Badenoch defeated Mr. Jenrick in last year's leadership contest, which the latter claimed Mr. Jenrick found distressing. She said it was wishful thinking that Mr. Jenrick could replace her as Tory leader. Mrs. Badenoch told the Sunday Times, "There will always be people who are sore losers. Our candidate didn't win and so on, and sour grapes. When I hear those things, I can tell those people are not focused on the country at all. Many of those people having those conversations think this is a game, but the lives of people in this country aren't a game. I think even Rob himself finds it distressing, but it's just something that we deal with." The Tory leader said that some of the criticism aimed at her was about my race and my ethnicity, with individuals claiming she was a diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI hire. Mrs. Badenoch said, "There's a certain cadre of people who clearly can't cope with the fact that I won this and I'm doing it. The level of personal attacks from anonymous people, it's hysterical. Not even just from MPs. I actually don't think there are that many MPs. I think it's 2 to 3 people out of 120. That's nothing. But online as well. People used to talk about Trump derangement syndrome. I think there's a Kemi derangement syndrome. How could she possibly have done this? It must have been DEI quote." The Tory leader has so far been unable to recover Tory failings, with the party falling behind Labour and Reform UK in the opinion polls. Mrs. Badenoch explained that people are angry because of things that Labour is doing, and they are angry because they think that we left the country in a bad state. She stated her task was tougher than that faced by William Hague after the 1997 Labour landslide. "We've got fewer MPs and we've got this new problem with the reform taking a lot of our votes." The Tory leader also took aim at Nigel Farage, describing him as a BS artist. She said that Reform UK was just about pulling this down and destroying things, as she slammed her rival on the right. According to YouGov, 28% of the public would vote for Reform UK at the next general election. This compares to Labour at 21%, and the Tories only on 18%, some 10% behind Farage's party. The Tories' popularity has steadily fallen as the year has gone on, with the party polling at 22% of the voter share in January, 4% up to August. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.